Everything starts in the family. When I was a young girl, my father, who is a feminist and a political refugee from Syria, used to say, "The perfect man is a woman." The quotation descends from Ibn Arabi, who is one of the great reformators within the Islamic Sufi tradition, the spiritual path in Islam. Ibn Arabi lived from 1165 until 1240, and he challenged patriarchal structures and gave a rereading of traditional interpretations of gender. The quotation is a part of my poetic childhood memory, and it inspired me in my activism, which is to fight female suppressive structures in the secular sphere and in the religious sphere. Everything starts in the family. The family is our earliest experience of a community, and therefore it lays the crucial fundament for all the communities we create in the future. The family is dramatic because we do not choose our family. We are born into the family. It could be a blessing or a curse, and I think to most of us, it's somewhere in between. I was lucky in the lottery of the family because my parents succeeded in uniting East and West, Christianity and Islam, the village and the city. My mother is a Christian, a nurse, an immigrant from Finland, from a small village called Mahlu, and my father is a political activist from Damascus. But all the roads of love are filled with flowers and blood. Flowers and blood. And since I had my share of flowers in my childhood, I was to experience blood in my adulthood. Because we all get a share of happiness and sorrow. When I was about to conquer the world as a young woman, eager and ambitious to create my own family, my own first community, I was exposed to psychological violence. I was exposed to religious control in my own relationship. Psychological violence is the hidden violence. It doesn't leave any bruises on your body, but it leaves eternal scars inside your body. And because it's the hidden violence, you can normalize it day after day, year after year. You can walk out the door and look perfect and act perfect and be a tigress and be a leader. And inside, everything is chaos. This is what happened to me. I was so ashamed. I felt so alone. I couldn't talk to my family or my friends, even though I have a very close relationship to both. Because who was I? I was a failure. And then one night, I woke up and I realized that the only thing that I needed was to speak to other women who were in the same position as I. I needed someone to witness my story unedited. I knew that that would be my way out of the vicious circle of abuse. So I desperately Googled the internet to see if I could find a self-help group for women subjected to psychological violence, and I found none. So I decided that if I can't solve the problem at a micro level in my own relationship, I can surely solve the problem at a macro level, and so I did. In 2014, I created Denmark's first self-help groups for women subjected to psychological violence and religious control. And today, we have 7 self-help groups in 4 of the biggest cities in Denmark. Women meet week after week, they share life stories unedited, and they get cognitive tools in order to tackle the consequences of psychological violence. Psychological violence, the hidden violence, is a universal plague. You find it within every family, community, religion. 6 out of 10 women have an ethnic Danish background. But we also have women with a Muslim background who are trapped in violent religious Islamic marriages, who cannot choose their love partner for life because he happens to be a non-Muslim. And Muslim women are not allowed to marry outside religion. So in order to tackle this problem, I will take you on a journey into the religious sphere and into the creation of the Mariam Mosque, the first mosque with female imams in Scandinavia. It's August 2016. I'm preparing myself to lead the first Friday prayer in the Mariam Mosque in Copenhagen. I'm putting on my scarf and my galabia, the very same dress that I'm wearing today. My 4 children are watching me. They know that something is at stake. They know that today a group of activists are going to write history. My youngest daughter, Halima, who's 5 years old at that time, has a friend visiting our house, a non-Muslim Danish girl with blue eyes and light hair. And she whispers into my daughter's ears, "What is an imam?" And I will never forget the look in my daughter's eyes and the sound of her voice when she says out loud, "Don't you know? An imam is a woman who's doing great things." When you start a mosque with female imams, you get the question of legitimacy. From where do you get your legitimacy? How dare you start a mosque with female imams? Our legitimacy is based on knowledge, on need, and Islamic theology. And she's absolutely right, my daughter. Female imams is not a new phenomenon. We're not creating a reformation. We're not the pioneers on this. There are female imams in China since the 1820s, in South Africa since 1994, in US, in Canada, in Germany, in UK. It's a slowly growing movement all around the world. It's also a part of our Islamic tradition. In the very first house mosque in the Islamic civilization, that was the house mosque of the Prophet Muhammad in Medina in year 600. In that house mosque, 2 women led the prayer for other women after the death of the Prophet. That was Aisha and Salama. And the Prophet, while he was alive, appointed a woman named Waraka to lead the prayer for her household because she was the most excellent in reciting and the most knowledgeable in Islam. So how come that we have normalized patriarchal structures in our societies, within religious institutions, within the families? How come that we still today deny women the basic right to enter the chair in the mosque, Friday after Friday, year after year? There are various reasons for this. One of them is the fact that the second Caliph, Omar, in 634, when he came to power, forbade women to lead the prayer for other women. He told the women, you do not have to come to the mosque. It's not obligatory for you. So you can stay in your houses and pray there. The most important thing in being an imam is to serve the community. And one of the most acute themes today in the Muslim youth is the concept of interfaith marriage and women's lack of divorce. I have 4 children. I have 2 girls. What are the chances of my 2 girls growing up and one day falling in love with a non-Muslim? It's huge because we live in Europe. But the father of my children, he would argue that this is never going to happen because I raised my girls so well, so they will not even think about falling in love with a non-Muslim. They will not even dream about falling in love with a non-Muslim. And this point of view is not rare. You find it among Jewish religious leaders, Muslim religious leaders. This is what they preach. Do not dare dream because it's not possible. you cannot marry outside religion. In the Mariam Mosque, I have conducted more than 30 Islamic marriages within the last 2 years, and half of them have been interfaith marriages between faithful practicing Muslim women and non-Muslims. Another important theme is the theme of divorce, or the lack of divorce. Today, Muslim women around the world do not have the basic right to divorce because male leaders took out women's right to divorce off the contract. So we have constructed a new Islamic marriage contract that gives women the right to divorce. Polygamy is forbidden. If mental or physical violence occur, the marriage is annulled. And we made a fusion between Danish legislation and Islamic guidance. So if you divorce according to Danish law, which is very easy, you are immediately, instantly divorced according to Islamic guidance. And you might think, why is this necessary? We live in Europe. It's only European law that counts legally, and that's correct. But an Islamic marriage counts spiritually, religiously, and psychologically to the woman who is trapped inside a violent religious Islamic marriage that she cannot escape. So therefore, we have to standardize this contract and spread it to the rest of the world. My 2 boys, they love to play chess. It's an evening ritual. And I asked them recently, their name is Salahuddin and Jibril, they are 9 and 11 years old. I asked them recently, do you know the meaning of the word checkmate? And they said no. And I told them, checkmate descends from the Persian shah mat, or the Arabic sheikh mat. The sheikh, the shah, it's the ruler, it's the king, it's the male leader. And mat in Arabic, it means dead. So my daughter Aisha, who's 14 years old, she looked and she said, be aware, Muslim brothers, the sheikh is dead, long live the female imams. Sometimes we think it's impossible to change a structure because it has been normalized for decades. But things will stay the same until someone comes along and just create that change. In the Mariam Mosque, we made it possible for the youth to dream about marrying across religious boundaries. And before we can create that change, we have to allow people to dream. So my message today to you, to the youth, is this: go dream, go love. Thank you.